Pharisee and I was blind. And now I see because God reached me and He showed me the scales fell from my eyes. I can literally say I was once blind and now I see. So in Mark chapter 10, there's a blind man. He's just on the street and Jesus is walking past and he starts calling out to Jesus and the people are saying, no, don't, he's busy or something. And then Jesus turns and he's like, no, come here. And they're like, oh, he's calling for you. So he goes, and this was at the time that I was wondering, like, I was asking God, like, should I do this? Because that would mean, like, I'm going to literally just not wear garments anymore, change my apparel, and change my life. This was like the epitome of, like, should I do this? Do you want me to do this? And I read through that chapter very slowly of how this blind man, he was wanting to see. And I could relate to that. Like, I'm ready to see. I'm ready to call out to Christ. And then he called for him. And I felt like God said, okay, I'm going to call for you now. So he reached him and he brought him. And then that miracle of showing him, opening his eyes. And I felt like you've opened my eyes. I can see. So what happens next? What? And the blind man, literally, it says in the King James Version, he took off his garments and put them on the ground and he followed Jesus for the rest of his days. So that was a perfect answer for me, but it also was a great analogy of what God had done for me, that he was able to help me to see when I was blind. The rich man is at the beginning of that chapter. He talks about where he's saying, Jesus, what do I need to do to go to heaven? And he said, oh, well, do you keep all the commandments? And the rich man's like, yeah, I do, actually. And that was how I felt, like, I'm keeping all the commandments, And I have a feeling that Jesus was a little like, okay, well, let's try this. Sell all that you have, give it to the poor, and follow me. How does that feel on you? Like, try that on for size. And then he walked away really sad, And so realizing that, like, he was doing a heart check on him. That's where it's at, like, are you willing to just follow me and give it all up? And so I felt like he was asking me to give everything to follow him. And that was a perfect analogy as well. Like, it's not about you keeping the commandments, Kristen. I just want you to give it all up and follow me. And it's in that same chapter that going forward, the apostles are talking about, well, we've abandoned everything, and now we're following you. And that's when Christ talks about, only if you've abandoned home and family and children, your fields and all your belongings, and you give all of it for me, then I'll return all those things 100-fold with that eternal life. So that one I felt like was very appropriate as well. That was perfect. Mark chapter 10, all of it.